Do what we do best, grind it out, put our heads down, put the work in, look back at the fruits that have followed. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. All right, we got a lot to cover today, and I'm super, super excited for it. Taco Tuesday with the honeymoon type 5 going on. Ace, this is a great one. I love the questions over here. From my perspective, why is it the markets move during this particular period? And what Ace is pointing out over here is where we are right there. And you could see that the seasonalities, specifically in the equity markets, for sure in Bitcoin and crypto as well, they greatly favor November and December. And of course, in an election year, specifically after we get out of the way, the uncertainty that follows, markets then are usually doing some beautiful things. Here's the seasonalities of November, December of Bitcoin. And we have multiple back-to-back red years. And then we have also many multiple back-to-back green years. In the equity markets, it's a little bit more of a consistent than it is out in Bitcoin and therefore crypto, Bitcoin being the rising tide that lifts all boats. It's, as you well know, I am much more of a what is than a why guy. However, yesterday, Luke, aka Lukastis, inside the Discord, inside the discretionary channel of the Discord, I believe, could have been the macro, but if you just search Luke, he posted a video, and in that video, it answers specifically this question. The answer that was given was something along the lines of, obviously I recommend you watch the video, but it was something along the lines of, this past year let's look at equity markets and have this conversation. We've had a tremendous gain at that, but a gain of roughly, what does it say? 22%. And if you take the amount of money that was created from these assets rising, and I think the number that was given in this video, again, I'm a what is. I'm not really the why guy at all. And they were saying somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 trillion, and it was equity market specific, right? And that money needs to be put back to work. And if only 10% of that is put to work, you could see why it would have such an effect into the end of the year. That's the why they gave. I think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting, and we're always looking to learn. But that's why I could point you towards the source. Watch that video that Luke posted and see what you think. Yeah, Anthony's asking if we abandon the 4-year cycle Anthony, we abandoned that actually. Let me put up a picture while we speak. But we did we monitor it, but we abandon it. Hold on. This is the slide I'm looking for. We monitor it, but we abandon it all the way out into the first quarter of 2022. And as Bitcoin didn't blow off here into a blow off top, we said, you know what? Hey, 53,140. You got to take what the market gives you. But at the same time, my expectations, and not my expectations, everyone around you, their expectations were for significantly higher Bitcoin. If you did the math and you just did between this cycle and this last cycle, there was basically 1/3 of the return. And if you did the 1/3 of the return again, you were looking at $180,000 Bitcoin, So anyway, was it because of things like people selling Bitcoin they didn't have, suppressing the price? We know that happened with FTX now. Were there other people out there doing it? I gather. Are there people doing it right now? Sure of it. when does the tide go out and you find out who's left, with their shorts up? Not right now. Right now, we're not under any type of pressure in markets. We're seeing equity markets printing new all-time highs. We're seeing Bitcoin at new all-time highs, right? So could that happen again? I imagine. Will it happen again, or will it be something else? It's always something, right? And that could work both ways. You could see price move one way a lot further, than you expect. Like, is risk to the upside right now? Let's take a look. So in looking at the 4-year cycle though, and using the 4-year cycle, not so much as, oh, this is the halving and this what happens after the halving. By the way, when 90 days ago, when we put out the video and we said in 90 days, maybe we start seeing Bitcoin moving, that had to do with tracking off of the low. It had nothing to do with the halving. It had to do with tracking Bitcoin's price off of the low. Now, I don't think Bitcoin would be shooting up right here had Trump not won the election. So I don't think it's, because this many days after the low, Bitcoin is going to do this. No, I don't think it had. I think it had everything to do with the red sweep and Trump winning the election, personally. Is that lasting right now? Are we going bananas? Bitcoin put in yesterday its largest candle price-wise ever. Or is that just a thing of a lot more to come at some point in the future, right? And obviously the last one. What is a God candle, right? There's talk out there. The first person I know of that at least I heard it was like from Preston Fish. And they talk about waking up one morning and there's a 6-figure candle on Bitcoin. I mean, it's going to happen one day. If Bitcoin continues to do Bitcoin things. Are there risks? Of course. Are the risks less or greater than they were 4 years ago? Right? It was 4 years ago. It was Bitcoin right over here in between 6,000 and 9,000, 9,500 that we began making the bullish case for Bitcoin for people, getting them involved. Many of you listening right now bought your first Bitcoin because of some of the work we were putting out. Were the risks greater then, or are they right now? Obviously, we've seen the network grow massively since then. We've also seen a lot of new players enter the stage, among them Larry Fink and BlackRock. By the way, Larry wants to confiscate your assets. He thinks there's nothing wrong with that. Now, you could say, well, we want to be on, it's great. It's a good thing that we have Wall Street behind us now. And you can make the case for that. I think it would be a good thing if you saw something like the US actually take a strategic reserve position, that if you saw that there was going to be a consistent bid of 200,000 Bitcoin over the next 5 years, I think that would be that would be a really strong thing, in my opinion. You're looking at El Salvador now, who's been stacking for the last couple of years, holding $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's a good thing. You're seeing MicroStrategy. In yesterday's session, we talked about retail is irrelevant. People are talking about retail's not here. It doesn't really matter. This is not about retail anymore. You could see yesterday MicroStrategy raised another $2 billion, purchased 27,200 Bitcoin. Retail is irrelevant. Is MicroStrategy FOMOing here? No, I mean, they're always going to buy whatever local top winds up coming in. By the way, in our video yesterday, what Bitcoin was trading at $84,600, we put in what our next price target is after this one was taken out. And I mean, line's not moved, but like a magnet right into our structural resistance. And it held as resistance. I mean, that's quite normal. There's nothing else to say about that. Our potential targets into the end of the year still stand, but has Bitcoin come too far too quick? Are equity markets just going to keep shooting the moon? Or are we going to see some type of pullback? And what would a healthy pullback look like? By the way, I mean, I thought after the election, this was a massive $1.3 million into Bitcoin ETFs. If someone tells you that they don't matter, that's just ridiculous, right? And then you see another yesterday, $1.1 million, and you saw the candle that ensued. This works both ways. If price comes off, we see selling. We've seen periods here of multiple week selling. Could happen again. I mean, it will happen again. Saylor is massively into profit overall as well. MicroStrategy has been doing nosebleed things. I saw it was D Power mentioning that he sold MST. Did MSTU have a 50% gain yesterday? 2 times leveraged MicroStrategy. I mean, that's obviously insanity, and that leverage does work both ways. And you could see over here, we'll get to that slide in a second, but you could see over here, right? MicroStrategy Saylor, bubble or not, but are you chasing one at this point? And you could see MicroStrategy exploding to the upside. Imagine 2 times leverage. There it is. Or I just saw it. We'll get back to it right here. This is MSTU. Unbelievable. We don't have a template for MSTU. There's not enough. It's just newly launched. I tried over the weekend just taking the MicroStrategy template that Core had created over here, Summit. By the way, Aldo on the daily holding 140% open profit. Ace on the 1 hour. I tried lining up MSTU, but it's just newly launched. We'll see going forward how that continues to track. Why we're here though, we're looking at TQQQ coming off a little bit off of its recent entry, currently holding a position minus 0.7 of unrealized loss. We're seeing NVIDIA, relative strength on NVIDIA today. Its earnings coming up when? Around November 20th. We still got about another week or so. So next week we'll check in on that. But around November 20th, 7.2% open unrealized profit. FNGU, 19%. Love to see it. Unrealized profit. And Tesla here holding its open position as well. 14% of unrealized gain at this particular point. Overbought. Tesla and Bitcoin both trading over here. This is on a daily chart, I'm assuming. And I'll show you why in a second because we're going to be looking at the weekly and monthly. But you can see over here, Bitcoin RSI, it's into that hot territory. And so is Tesla. Both of them, in my opinion, riding off of the Trump win. Tesla is tied to, obviously, Elon. And Elon directly tied himself to the Trump administration. If the election had gone the other way, I don't think Bitcoin or Tesla would be pumping up right now. It actually kind of reminds me of what happened in this particular area as we look at, let's just take a look, as we looked at what happened waiting for the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs. So that was this area over here. So where are we? October. We see we're about to have a massive breakdown, by the way. Massive breakdown. And then all of a sudden, Grayscale wins the court case saying they can convert their fund into a spot ETF. And then you saw this massive launch up. Here's December into January. This was tough. And then we had the launch of the ETF. And you remember on the launch, all of a sudden, huge sell-off. I'm going to raise my hand over here. As Bitcoin went under 40K, I said consistently, I said in the next month, in February, we're looking for Bitcoin to make new all-time high. By the way, February is a very favorable month for Bitcoin seasonalities. And then indeed, we were able to see that take place. Bitcoin taking the new all-time highs and then running up. This over here, this price action reminds me a lot of what we're undergoing right now. Now, we're still in this favorable seasonalities, By the way, we have tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Thursday? Let's get on the ball over here. We have on Thursday core PPI. Tomorrow is CPI. So we got inflation data coming in the next 2 days, followed by Powell speaking. Is that going to move the markets? I don't think so, but you know what? Sometimes you just get an excuse. And I know that everyone's looking at the seasonalities coming into the end of the year. Everyone's bullish, but I have to say we've like overshot seasonalities all year long. So, you know what? I'm open and up for everything. Let's just take it as it comes. Continue grinding it out and staying on the right side, because you never know when those moves are going to come in, right? By the way, this FNGU trade, it went like 3-4% against us. Now it's holding profit. You never know when you're going to get those beautiful gains. The beautiful gains, and FNGU is a beauty over here, but 36, 83% gain, 60% gain, 24, 21. That's just like, it didn't, you couldn't push it. It didn't go anywhere. But those are just, I want to say average. Average trade is only 10%, 9.7, but the average winning trade is 23%. So those are just average trades. We're currently sitting on an unrealized gain of almost an average trade, but you never know when the big ones are going to come into the market. And trying to predict when that's going to happen, I know I can't do it. How many people thought NVIDIA was going to be, when we come back and look at last year and the positions that we took on NVIDIA, like how many? I remember in these earnings over here, February 2024, so many people, so many analysts out on spaces, they thought that we were going to see NVIDIA crumble and that it was so overvalued. So, I mean, Stanley Druckenmiller sold his. Stanley the Great Druckenmiller sold his. I mean, look, you got to grind it out. You never know when you're going to catch a move, and you got to be there to capture. We have over here, this was shared yesterday, Auto Trader in the Discord community chat. Just wanted to let you know that CTM has revolutionized my financial situation. Auto Trader joined up. How long have you been with us, Auto Trader? I'm going to say off the top of my head, about 10 months. Is that correct? I have made more money in the markets over the last 3 months than I've made over the last 6 years of being in the markets. I'm so grateful for all of the hard work you and the hive-mind are doing. The profits I've made so far cover a lifetime subscription to CTM and probably more. I just want to let you know how appreciative I am of you guys are doing and continue to do. And of course, to let you know that I am more than happy to contribute in any way should you ever want or need and help with anything. I know I'm a paying member, but I almost feel like I'm just taking advantage of others' hard work and not really contributing anything. So just wanted to let you know I'm happy to help where I can and if I can. It's beautiful. Thanks again for everything you do. I'm so blessed to have found CTM when I did. This is my 401k balance over the year. Now, look, the market's also up. Like NASDAQ's up 20% on the year. Bitcoin is booming. So, but the bear market is when CTM, whether you're talking about, how many people during 2022, I can't tell you how many people I know that were like so angry that they saw their 401k balances come off so much and no one told them, hey, you should probably get like positioned differently. They were so mad. And if you have a 30% drawdown, you're looking at what, a 45% gain just to get back to break even? On Bitcoin and crypto, what we do during the bear markets, whether you're buy side only and just out on the sideline preserving that capital, which is, I mean, if you go through 76% drawdown on Bitcoin, you need 150% return in order just to get to break even. Can you imagine having that 150% return off of preserved capital? And those that trade the buy and sell side, that's when they run circles around anyone else. So bump. Beautiful. Love. Thank you, Auto Trader. Love to see it. We got CPI coming in next week. We're seeing the 10-year beautiful call over here, CTM on the underbelly, and it continues to run. Ace asked, where are we wrong after we had the breakout above here? We can see we've had a test of it, but our line over here continues to hold. We're coming back, testing top side of the channel ahead of CPI and PPI. So we continue just letting it go as far as it'll go. The move on the dollar here has been quite explosive. I mean, look, guys, when the dollar's bid like it is, global liquidity is going down. Bitcoin is going up. Which one of those which one of those is likely correct? Think about that. In most previous occurrences, and in most previous occurrences, when you see Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things, and let me just pull up when Bitcoin is doing this type of stuff, the dollar is being sold off. The dollar's not being sold off right now. Is the dollar beginning to price in the astronomical debt that continues to accelerate? Is it pricing in hyperinflation? I mean, or is it pricing in a Trump win? QT still runs. There are further signs of stresses occurring in the financial system. I wanted to bring up a slide over there that was shared, but I didn't really grasp it and fully understand it, so I just didn't. And we'll continue monitoring as it comes. I don't want to talk about anything that I don't know. Yeah, this is more of a time of milkshake playing out as we move towards cuts. Not yet, though. I mean, yes. So let me just come back over here. We were looking at the dollar, right? And this was dollar milkshake zone over here. And this this ended when they had to open up swap lines to central banks around the world in order to get access to dollars. So that stopped like the milkshake, but that was milkshake occurring. This wasn't a milkshake over here. This was for sure tightening occurring, different differentials in rates. And a lot of people surely thought we were going a lot higher. I think when I look at the dollar and I look at the 10-year, some of the two, along with Bitcoin, some of the tremendous assets that we have navigated quite well, including the turnover here. A lot of people thought the dollar was about to get dumped. Dollar's going strong over here. Yeah, I don't know. There's not going to be, my opinion is, D-Power. That's a good one, D-Power. Good insight. Yes. And I wonder, is the tariff talk mostly talk and a negotiating tool? For example, with the U.S.'s southern border in Mexico, Trump is like, hey, listen, I'm going to be putting tariffs on all of your exports to the U.S. unless you like stop the flow of illegal immigration over the border. And then like days after, Mexico authorities stopped a caravan that was crossing, something that they hadn't done in the past, were not doing. Are the two related? Same thing with China. Is he using it as some type of, are there going to be tariffs placed? I mean, probably unlikely, but also you have to understand that probably a large part of that is negotiating. But I think D-Power has that correctly, very, very well. I attribute it to where we are in this area over here. This is the area that I think that we're in, where cuts started. And before you saw quantitative tightening stops over here. Dollar comes up. I don't really know what happened over here. This was right into the lockdowns, but I do know that we kept our super bullish posture here on the dollar and only ended it right over here on the technical breakdown. If I was better, or lesson learned. And by the way, I flipped over here, right here. I flipped bullish. CTM, others in CTM flipped over here. Will called it. I mean, pretty great navigation. And we held that over. There was one sell impulse over here, right there, back on the right side. And then this is where we got bearish. It's pretty good, strong navigation overall. But when the swap lines were opened, and as QE was initiated, we had our eyes on other things. Going forward in a similar event and occurrence, I hope that we are in the right time at the right place. This is Bitcoin running into 2021, right? And you could see this is the dollar being sold. Come back to 2017 top, and this is the bull market of 2017. Dollar is being sold. This is the blow off top. Dollar's being sold. Dollar's not being sold right now. The dollar's being bid. Liquidity is going the other way. Is it possible that inflation comes in as deflation tomorrow or this week, and then like more cuts than expected are on the table and the dollar loses this? Probably not. I can't make a case to see a sharp turn in the dollar at any particular moment right now. And this is not the time that usually Bitcoin goes bananas. So I'm just throwing that out there. Gold over here, by the way, we called after the cup and handle, and most people were not just not believing. We said it's not going to stop here. It's going much higher, and through gold doesn't stop. Where gold's time is shortly after we see the full return to the massive expansion of the balance sheet. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. I think that gold right over here, we called here, you all know, right before the even pullback, and you can see the breakdown of the black diamond here, right? That's the first sell impulse. Over here, we said that gold likely will pull back. It's when we put up this chart and put in the black diamond. You had a breakdown retest coming into an area over here. Long term, I still think nothing has changed whatsoever as gold. Could the one thing that changed as far as gold be that red sweep and there's going to be massive tax cuts that are going to help stimulate the economy, a return to growth, and therefore gold trade off a bit? That's the only thing that I could come up with, but I don't really think that's the case. I don't think that we're going to have any massive invalidation. I mean, I would not be surprised if this was even tested at all. I mean, we have to break through this first breakdown over here. So at this particular point, my overall view on gold has not even changed a little. And not only that, we were right on time in looking for the first pullback since the breakout. So we'll just give it time and follow and wait to see if we get any repairs. Right now, we're under pressure. We had a black diamond breakdown, and we're coming into an area of another potential breakdown. It could hold that support over here. It could consolidate. We'll figure it out as it comes. Let's move back over here, and I want to get into. I mean, I don't look. Any other time Bitcoin has traded above the 0.786, it hasn't traded below, and it's gone up soon thereafter into its massive run. It is true this time is different that the dollar is rising right now, not falling. And in the past, it was falling. In the past, monetary policy aligned. Monetary policy does not align right now. And we have many different factors that we didn't have in the past, such as a massive bid out there, whether or not it's coming from funds into the ETFs, whether or not it's MicroStrategy, whether or not it is whatever large FOMO is taking place. There's every reason to see Bitcoin react like this after that multi-month consolidation and then on the catalyst of a Trump victory, right? So, but does this have the catalyst here? Don't forget, MicroStrategy has just taken some pretty significant bids. We've seen a significant amount of money come into the spot ETFs. Where is the mojo going to come from? I mean, those are the questions that I'm asking myself. Would I be surprised if by the end this is completely in play? That line that I'm putting up there, completely in play. This is more towards potential expectations into the end of the year, the numbers we looked at. And people right now likely seeing just a little bit of red are looking for a pullback. Probably this area is where they're looking. We could come down way further and still be super healthy. Are we looking at this particular moment over here? Remember when we said the risk is to the upside when we had the breakout right over here? This was nothing easy about this. This is what we did live. Bull market breakout, CTM live. Price came in and came into the red box. It could have failed. It didn't. And then you saw the massive and quick run up, specifically between the end of October into November. A lot of people were looking right over here after seeing a 50% gain in weeks for a pullback. Said, no way. Price came up to the first area. We were looking for a pullback. It pulled back decently. I was looking for a 30% pullback, but with the ferocity that it was bought up, that's when I said risk was to the upside. And then we saw the march up. Are we seeing anything like that occur right now? Look, I don't know. We need to watch price. Seriously, you saw yesterday price run up massively into resistance and then pull back mildly. What did price, 5% after such a run up? And then is it being bid up over here? Are we going to see the next leg up so quickly? I don't know. I don't, rather than having expectations, I'm letting the market do the talking and I'm doing the observing, and I'm going to wait to see which way this unfolds. I want to jump back and forth then, I suppose, because Bitcoin right here, first of all, holding a significant open position, 25% into profit, is not yet close to locking it in. We know how aggressive BTC 107 on the buy side is to locking in gains, and it still has a lot of room over here. So everything suggests that the current price action and trade is extremely, extremely healthy. I want to get into and talk about the daily. The daily yesterday took an entry with the deviation so far extended and took a stop loss over here yesterday. And the question brought up is, look, I would love to take a look, if possible, on Bitcoin on the daily. Today it had an enter long confirmed, which I hesitantly took because the deviation was almost 20K away, which got me thinking, is there a chance of not getting stopped out on that trade? I mean, price would have to have gone up another 20K at least. Look, there was a couple of, this for over here from Listy, first of all, just take every trade. It's a mechanical system, not to be overridden by emotions or other indicators. I've been here since 2020, taking every trade like a boss. Like that right there is the best answer that could be given, which is awesome that it's being provided by Listy. And that is true. If you you took the trade yesterday and it stopped out, first of all, the stop loss is nothing. Sorry, I'm on the wrong chart over here. The stop loss is 1.5%. Extraordinary tight stop loss. On the daily over here, you have to know the average losing trade, 1.69%. The average winning trade is 75%, with a win ratio of 26%. It's a massive risk to reward that you're taking. You're taking like, I don't know, a 65% reward to risk on every trade you take. So you're much better off taking the trade and having a 1.5% stop loss than introducing a habit where all of a sudden you're now bringing a discretionary element into a mechanical system. So that, because the next time it happens, you might then say, well, last time my intuition was correct and I didn't want to enter. And guess what? I was right. But next time you don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Yes, it's very extended. If you look back, it's the most extended we've ever seen the deviation. If I come back even right further, by far the most extended deviation has ever been. By the way, that does suggest to me that, well, maybe we're in a little bit of an overextended period over here off of the Trump win. And, I know that people are looking at seasonalities. I know that people here have banana hopes, but maybe, just maybe, hey, Bitcoin, we should be super happy at this point in cycle, is riding so high here at new all-time highs, looking good. But let's grind it out and wait to see when these things unfold and how they do. Some really good charts over here. Let's bring it up over here. This is Dogeton saying, look, after 8 months of consolidation, chop consolidation, good word, might be a powder keg that ignites price higher than we imagine. I'm finding a lot of solace in checking chain charts, specifically the three below. And you have over here the Bitcoin euphoria zone, which you could see that we are not even close. Again, I bring up that in those past times, we were seeing monetary policy aligned, outright QE and easing going on. And we're not seeing that occur right now. We're not seeing the dollar. We're seeing the dollar go in the reverse reaction it has in other occasions. So I'm being, I guess, the word of caution. Looking at on-chain original price models. I guess what I'm looking at is this top deviation over here, this dark green one, which is MRV +1. There are many times price rises well above it, coming in towards even this top deviation. But more often than not, that has also provided a near-term cool-off point. I get the problem is overbought during really strong runs can remain overbought for an extended period of time. This is short-term holder. And again, during these they're very far and few between, but during these periods, you could see overbought really remain overbought. And we're not even close to a point where we're running hot and the largest gains come in these periods. So potentially you could say that, well, we're getting close to a period where we could see some of the largest gains take place. That's, all true. No question about it. Look at Dylan pointing out that the futures funding rate, they are at the lowest we've ever seen during a break of all previous time high. This reverts back to my comment yesterday that retail is irrelevant. This has nothing to do with retail. And this is where you see retail placing their bets largely. And yeah, I think this is a sign of a healthy market. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm going to attribute too much credence to. This is looking at Bitcoin on the 2-month. And you could see as you break out to new all-time highs on the 2-month with the RSI hitting above 70, you have seen some really strong periods. And you've seen the RSI break above once, twice, and then all of a sudden, that's when it was overheated. So obviously, clearly, I was like, I'm on the right side, but I don't have any type of FOMO or euphoria. Look over here, same thing. This is Bitcoin now on the weekly chart, and you're seeing the RSI kick back up over here. And in the past, this has kicked off some really strong price rises, except that at the same time, it's also hit some cool off periods as well. So I'm ambivalent, actually, of where we are right now. Dogecoin, market cap of 53 billion, more than 303 companies in the S&P 500. ARK, start chasing calls in size. Are we at a point here where potentially we're maybe a little bit overheated and hot? I guess I'm leaning that way, and I'm holding strong over here, and we'll continue to do so until we get some type of otherwise signal. Bitcoin bull runs, open position now, 35%. Ethereum here, tracking out on the sideline. This is CTM 2.0. CTMX over here, still out on the sideline. Sorry. This is daily. There she is. There's the butte. Waiting out on the sidelines as Bitcoin and Cardano are doing their thing. The question came up about Cardano, and this is relevant to all alts yesterday. And the question was, was wondering your thoughts on older coins like Cardano struggling to make new all-time highs this cycle. I mean, this is not alt season, first of all. And during alt season, will Cardano be able to make new all-time highs? So last time during the Bull of all bulls running, Cardano did make new all-time highs, incredible gains. Right. I mean, yeah, I don't think that this is anywhere near alt season. This has been the opposite. This is not alt season. Yeah. So I'm not making any type of, I don't think Cardano is struggling here personally. Or are we going to see a lot of bag holders selling into runs? 100%. You're going to see you have a lot of resistance. Look at all this area over here. This is not going to be easy to get through, right? You have a lot to work through and to get through if you even get up there. I'm a firm believer in older coins dying. I spoke about it on Friday when we were talking about meme coins, how eventually they're going to be like bored apes and lose a massive amount of their value once they're out of the trendy trend. And I mean, is that Cardano right now? I don't know. I love Cardano. Here's what I love about Cardano. For us, it plays a pivotal role in our puzzle. And this is our puzzle, right? And you look during the bear market of 2022, and Cardano was an incredible gift giver. And then even over here, incredible gift giver. And right now it's doing it again. It trades really great in bear markets because it's like the weakest link that we have up over here. And therefore, in a bear market, there's lots of profits to be made on the short side. And then it doesn't take much for Cardano to be able to put in some nice sizable trades and gains. So I like Cardano. I don't care if Cardano makes a new all-time high or not. I think that it very well could. When we're looking here at Bitcoin, this time of cycle, trading with the market cap that it is, we're seeing multiple days in the last week of over $1 billion of inflows. You're seeing MicroStrategy out there, a couple billion. You're not yet seeing Microsoft. You're not yet seeing Alphabet. You're not yet seeing Oracle. You're not yet seeing Meta. And, a plethora of, by the way, Tesla's Bitcoin holdings now worth also $1 billion, just like El Salvador. No, you can't see. Oh, good. We just lost a little. Sorry about that. But I was pointing out in 2022 during the bear market, Cardano was beautiful because it's weak. So for trading purposes, is a great, great, great addition. Great addition. It's a great trading vehicle for us. We're out here trading to either stack sats, put them out into cold storage, build up equity accounts in order to trade CTMX. We're here to make fiat, right? And look, holding Bitcoin, I have to be honest with you. And obviously, big believer in Bitcoin. But if you're holding Bitcoin here for 3 years and you're making like 18% or 40%, I think that's generous. Maybe it's off 40%. I guess, you know what? Maybe you bought it over here in this area. Let's pretend you bought 50K Bitcoin. And you're up 78% in 3 years. That's a massive misallocation and use of capital. That is a poor use of capital. So, yeah, I firmly believe in Bitcoin. I firmly believe in cold storage. Anyway. Solana also out on the sideline as we're seeing Ethereum and Bitcoin doing the work, but we're getting a bit of a pullback here now on Solana. Let's see if we come back in. Discretionary touch over here. Let's see when we're there. I saw this, Ace, in the discretionary channel just before going live. Love it. All right, everyone. We're gonna cut it short here because I'm like we have a power outage, like some type of upgrade going on. So internet is out. I'm tethered to a phone over here today, but wanted to make sure we were here to show up and put the work in. See, there you go. That's a great one. Look, there are a lot of people who will be happy to get rid of Cardano at lower prices. And there's a lot to work through. But Cardano, at the same time, when the time's right, you all know I've been very consistent because this question has come up so many times throughout CTM. And, I was like, oh, at the right time, and here's the right time. Nice 60% gain, open position, 50%, still running wildly. Everyone, have a beautiful day. God bless you all. I'll see you all back now on the inside.